check. Are we actually live? We are. Is it working? I've just got booted off TikTok. Right, okay, where am I? Just bear with me, guys. Oh, well, I can see myself there. Okay, I think I'm there. Okay, right, let me just go live on Instagram as well. Right then, so thanks for joining me. Gosh, that's been a little bit of a crazy 2 hours. It's been interesting to say the least. So, gosh, just bear with me. There's things all over there. I don't want that there. My goodness. Oh no, I've got full screen. Nobody needs to see that. Full screen. Okay, bear with me. Right, okay. So, I need to see my... Oh, nothing's working today, just for a change. Where's the comments thing gone? Bear with me, guys. Sorry, I hate saying guys. Could someone leave me a comment if you're there? I've lost the window, so I can't actually see them. And I don't know what it's called on here. Countdown, widget, screen share, recording, output. Oh, I don't know. I can't see any comments. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, I'm being stupid. No, that's interview. There's a little speech bubble. I got you eventually. Oh God, right, okay, thank God you're there. Honestly, I scheduled a live on TikTok for 1 o'clock. Was late for that because we had some problems with some of the listings and things. And then literally I forgot, you can't say Facebook or anything. So literally I must have said Facebook 3 times and so got booted off. So I'm banned now from TikTok. First proper full demo live, and now I'm banned. So yeah, I don't know when I'll be back on TikTok. It says 24 to 48 hours, so hopefully that'll be the case. But anyway, we're here. So you'll have to bear with me a little because I'm gonna kind of carry on what I was doing there. I was literally like about halfway through my demo. So anyway, it was looking really nice. So I don't want to abandon it. So I'm gonna start from scratch again. So I'm not gonna. So we've got a brand new release called Bright and Beautiful. So I'm not gonna go through it all right now because otherwise there's quite a lot. In fact, I'll just glance through it just in case you've not seen it before. And no, not today. I'll do a different live for that. So because otherwise it just goes on and on and on, and we end up on here for 2 hours, and everybody gets bored and leaves. So I'm just going to go straight into. Thanks for joining me. So we've got. I'll name check. So Pauline, Natalia, Liz, Jill, Polly, Kerry, Karen, Christine, yay, Jeanette, yay, and then we've got someone on YouTube as well. So I'm going to go straight into my demo. Okay, I want to do a project, and because I'd already started this, and it's actually working really nicely, so I kind of want to carry it on. So just bear with me while I kind of sort my desk out because I'd scheduled the whole thing so that I could have half an hour in between to kind of reset my desk and then hop onto Facebook. But I mentioned it. Yeah, obviously I didn't think. So that's what I got thrown off for, which is hilarious, really. And then we were trying to work out what had gone on and why it had stopped and could I restart it. So I kind of lost my half-hour setup time. So let's go, Daddy-o. I'm going to switch cameras. Looks like I've lost a Canon as well. Okay, so I've lost... Oh, I'm all set up wrong now as well. Oh, crikey. Okay, bear with me. Didn't realise I was all set up wrong. So I'm going to be on a vertical here. Oh, shall we go there? No, that's all right. Everything's reset on me since they stopped it. So, right, bear with me. Okay. Oh, honestly, why does nothing ever work properly? Talk about complicated. I don't know whether my camera battery's run out. Let me turn my other camera on and off. Sorry, guys. I should have checked that I was still working, but I didn't even notice. Oh, there we go. Okay, this one's back. Right, okay. So, I'm in a bit of a kerfuffle. I'm a bit, what's the word? Discombobulated. So, I'm going to make an A5 card. So, the new collection has stamps, if you've not seen it, has stamps, dies, and stencils. Lots and lots of new yummy things in there. They all work together really, really nicely, and it's just a really great, versatile, all-round versatile collection. So here I am using. Have we stalled now? Oh my god. Hi Julie, hi Jacqueline. Pauline, it's much better now, thank you. Yeah, it's just been the last couple of days. I'm still having to be a bit careful. It's just an old injury that keeps rearing up all the time. So my Canon camera's not working, obviously. Oh my god, it's going to be one of them days. Okay, let's go right over here. Okay, so I'm on my iPhone, so apologies. So this is the Nomad stencils. So it's 2 layering stencils, and the reason there's 2 is so that you can multicolour really easily with this. So ones that, they mask each other, so it's a stencil and a mask set. So this is what I'm going to use. So these are A5. The good news is I've already got some bits of this made, so it shouldn't take too long. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it slightly differently to last time, actually. So I'm just going to take my Picked Raspberry ink. Make sure with this one, what I was saying before was, make sure you actually tape this down, because look at these bits. These are actually going to move around. So this stencil, especially these ones, look, because they're quite thin and floppy. When you actually have like the little connecting pieces, they're called bridges. But obviously we don't have any bridges in here, and it stabilises it. So make sure you tape it down. And I've actually taped my cardstock down at the side as well. So my cardstock's taped down, my stencil's taped down. You know that I don't always do that, but on this stencil you really need to. So I just want to put in a little bit of ink. Oh, there was a lady I was chatting to on TikTok. She'll wonder where I've gone. She'll think I'm so rude. Bless her. So what I want to do is I'm going to add a little bit more colour at the edges here. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all enjoyed last week's shows. It was, in fact, this time last week I was on Hobby Maker, just started releasing. So you can actually still get that show. I don't know if it's actually on the Hobby Maker website or not, but you'll be able to find it on YouTube. Usually I try and actually find it and post it on the website, but I haven't had time this week. Now, what I want to do is I kind of want to get a graduation effect going on. So what I want to do is just kind of create a little bit of just depth, really. So you see, like here, it's going to be quite patchy down here. So work your brush right in. And it's actually better with a detail brush on this, because you can literally run it up and down the, I don't know what to call it, the channels. So I'm just going to try and smooth this out. So I didn't actually put any extra ink on this. I've just been using this, but I'm not putting any extra ink on there at all. So I just want to smooth that as much as I can. Not hyper important, as you're going to see, because I changed my mind halfway through. Now, what I want to do on the next one is I just want to go, again, I'm using this, look, you've got a great big area here that you can actually press down onto your stencil and then use this as a mask, so that if I was doing a different colour, so it wouldn't run into there, and I don't want it to be too dark, so then just blend that out at the bottom. I've got a little bit of an edge there, okay. In fact, I've not gone dark enough there, so let's just put a little bit more in. I'll probably do this, you know, I might do this a couple of times. What I just wanted to do was to kind of not do it multicoloured. So I was kind of experimenting as I was going a bit, really, and I really like the effect. Okay, so that's our first one. So if we take that off and have a look at it, how nice is that? Really great for like a clean and simple card. That'll just look absolutely amazing. So now I'm going to put this one over the top. Obviously, you know, it's not rocket science, but it's just a couple of things I want to do that, you know, might be a bit different that you hadn't thought of. So now what I'm going to do again is I'm going to come in, and this time I'm going to go a bit lighter, okay? So, and on this one, this is where you get this big, huge panel in the middle, okay? So just to get some ink, I really need a new ink pad. So this time I'm going to be quite light, because the other one we'd put quite a lot of ink on the other one. So it almost looks like I'm not even got any ink on, but I have. And a little tip, if you do find that your brush is a little bit dry, or you know, like I feel like I'm dry brushing here. Look, this is another great thing for your spongy. So just get your brush on your spongy and just literally dampen it a little bit, and that way you're not wetting it. You just, and actually that's a really good tip for cleaning your brush. So look now, look, it'll just pick up a bit more ink. So sometimes when your brush is dry, it can be a little bit difficult to actually get that colour on sometimes, especially depending on what type of cardstock it is. I don't know what this card is. It isn't our Ultimate Graphic. I picked it up out of my stash box and it's not mine. So it's not particularly, it's a smooth cardstock, but it's not particularly giving me like a good laydown of ink, if you know what I mean. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's see what that looks like now. So that's the effect you're going to get there. So it's just an all over effect. So I want a bit more drama than that though. So look, let's go, in fact, I don't want it like that. So let's just build in a bit more drama here, and then we can smooth that out a bit. And then I'm not going to do that down the edges, but what I do want to do, I'm going to leave that one there. I'm not going to touch that one. Or shall I? Yeah, I am. Sorry. It was just I started doing something earlier, and then I had a couple of other ideas of what I could do, and so I'm kind of tinkering a little bit as I go. So yeah, I will have that one on there. Now, what I did before was I actually colour swatched a little bit, because I want to actually make this centre bit a bit darker. Now, the colour that was a really good match for Picked Raspberry, believe it or not, is Festive Berries. So I'm going to come in with Festive Berries. And this is like quite a bright red, so I'm going nice and lightly. but it's kind of got it's a bluey red. What you picked raspberry is a blue pink. So what you need is a blue red to match it if you're going to actually get this look. Okay, so I did try abandoned coral and also candied apple, but they were more orangey. So this one works best for me for the look that I want, because I just want it to be the right tone. Otherwise it can start to look a little bit weird. So now this is where, now I've got a decent amount of ink on this bottom bit here. And so now if I just hold this down, now I can kind of blend in from this side and then also blend in from that side without contaminating into the next channel. It's just sometimes, you know, it can be difficult when you've got a small area just not to kind of flood into that area. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't think about is, what about if we also then stencil on stencil? People don't think about this. So, and it works so well on a layering stencil because you can just lay it over the top, and then we're only going to get ink through part of that stencil. So just think about doing that, because you actually can get some really, really nice effects. Like we've got a line through the chevron here. So if I pull that down, that line will appear in the actual, in there. And how cool is that? So I just pull that up so you can zoom in. How cool is that? So you've now got these channels that have got a pattern in them. Isn't that good? Yeah, that works so well. So now another thing that I wanted to show you as well. So just coming back to some stencil techniques, because we do get a bit carried away and we kind of, you know, forget things sometimes. So I'm going to grab my spongy again. Now I have to say it's quite wet. Let's see if I've got a different one that's a bit damp. Yeah, this one's better. It's a bit. So I've got my spongy, just damp, and then what I'm going to do is just dab that through my stencil. And now we end up, well, you can't really see because I did it on a bit that I'd already done. You can either run it through, or you could just rub it like that. But now we end up with like a bleached effect. So this is another cool thing that you can actually do with your stencils and also with your spongy. So let's run that up there. Do you see? So we're getting that that negative effect. And it's just these little tips sometimes with a stencil, they'll just really, really make a big difference. Now, the other thing I want to do is, where's my chevron going to go? So I'm going to grab that chevron and I'm just going to, no extra ink, I just want to add a little bit, I'll put a little bit of extra ink on here, and I'm going to pick up a bit of that red as well, just a little bit. Look, it moved, but it doesn't matter. And then I've also got the Bubblicious stencils here. So we do actually have 9 new sets of stencils for this, in this collection. And then we're going to run just a bit of ink through here. Don't want to go too mad. And then again, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, we'll do a bit of bleaching. It's just like adding bleach, it's cool. Don't make it too wet though. Can you see? It just needs to be damp, because if you make it too wet, it'll all bleed underneath the stencil. Look at this. How cool is that? So, and then if it goes through the stencil and goes underneath, it kind of, it's still okay, you get a cool effect, but it goes a bit watery. Okay, so you kind of end up with a bit of a smudgy look, but it might be that you want to do that. You see? And then if you actually then, if you left that in place and then just carried that stencil on, you kind of get a repeat, you get like the continuation of the pattern look, but it's kind of like dark there and then it comes into the negative there, which is so cool. I love doing this kind of thing. And then what I'm going to do is down here, I'm just going to grab some of that red, and I want it to be fairly prominent. Yeah. Oh, it's really nice. And you've got lots of different like little size I love this stencil. You've got lots of like little different size bubbles on this one, so it's really nice. But how cool is that for a background? Isn't that gorge? It'd look lovely if you could even just cut that down and use it. And what I do like is it also looks really nice upside down too. I don't know which way around I prefer it actually. I might like it better that way, I don't know. But just two colours, but you see how the red matches the pink, and that's because we overlaid it. Now, if you feel like, I'm being a bit pedantic now, but if we put that back on, and if you felt like you hadn't quite got the right tone of red there, then you could just come back over the top with your pink and just add a little bit more pink there, which is really nice. So the other thing that I want to just show you as well is I'm just dipping here. I've got a little bit of water here, and I'm just going to, whilst my stencil's still on, I'm just going to flick a little bit of water on. Now, because this is water, it's going to go underneath the stencil, and then this is going to create that. But what I do, look, I like to get my finger in, so I kind of dab with my finger. And what I like to do is kind of, now it goes underneath because it's very, very wet now. But I don't mind that so much because I'm going to show you in a minute what actually happens. And then you end up, because it's the Distress oxides that I've used, then we end up with a bit of a splodgy, natural, inky kind of thing going on. So, like, look here, look at this bit here. Isn't that nice? And I mean, obviously, you could do this anyway, but it's just like it's a bit more controlled if you have the stencil in front, so that you know it doesn't go, you don't get too much water on there. So I'm just going to dry this off. Oh, this is such a nice background, such a nice background. Okay. Ah, cool, Jill. Cool. I'm glad that was something that you maybe not thought about before. I think there's not many people that use two stencils layered on, you know, like ink through one stencil to get to the next one. And you can really, depending on the stencil, you can create some really, really nice looks. Right, okay. So I'm going to put those stencils just to a side because they're all a bit inky now. There we go. So what I want to then show you is our, and I do have the sample boards if you didn't see them before. So we have our shutter dies. Excuse this one, it's got a bit broken. So we have the shutter heart and we have the shutter circle. Now these are really cool because you can obviously cut out the whole heart, but you get two dies. The outline die of this is separate. So what that means is you can just actually cut the shutter effect into your card. So you don't have to actually trim that out. That can just be your card. And the reason I love these so much is that these are really, really nice for like inserting bits and pieces. So inserting your flowers, inserting leaves, inserting messages, embellishments. You know, these are going to look really nice if you tear them. So I've got a heart here that I've cut out. And look, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tear it. So let's just distress it a bit. This is on watercolour cards, so it's quite tough actually. So let's just look. If we get my poker tool, And I'm going to bend this back. I wasn't going to do this, I've just thought about it. It's that thing in it about things are so what I love about crafting. It's the things you think of as you're crafting that make all the difference. So we could tear this off. Let's tear a little bit off. We could, let me see, let's tear that bit there. And then this bit, let's have this on the other side. And what I'm going to do is, if you had a quilling tool, which I did have somewhere, I don't know where it's gone, look, I'm actually rolling that back. Can you see? Roll that back, right back. So it's a little curly bit. Now, obviously, if you do this, you're going to need to keep that on there. Let's have another torn bit. Let's have another curly bit. So I'm just shaping that round. And then I'm going to tease that one down, look, into like a bit of a ringlet. Looks like a coil. Oh, how nice is that? How nice! My gosh. Make it easy. Get your pokey tool on the sharp end, and then that'll give you the bend. And then just roll it in your fingers. And then you can just then twizzle that round, look. Now, obviously, this is going to be quite a dimensional card, so you'd probably want to create a box for it if you, unless you were hand delivering it or something. I am well, no, I'm not supposed to be making a broken heart, not in that way. No, I just kind of like I just had the thought as I was just doing this. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't you? You know, like if your friend, maybe if your friend was getting divorced, or somebody that had a breakup, or maybe your daughter's having a hard time with a boyfriend or something like that. You know, it could just be, you know, thinking of you, something like that, you know. Now, the other thing I must mention, and I try not to make it all about selly. Obviously, we want you to buy products, but I try not to make it about that on the lives. But if you're on the VIP list, make sure you check out your emails, because the special code that you have, your VIP code, ends today. So it's your last chance to actually get that extra discount. So the big bundle of this, if you buy the whole entire collection, it's actually worth over £300. And we actually have knocked £100 off that. So yes, I know it's still a big investment. It's not a small amount of money. I get that. I don't, you know, take that for granted in any way, shape or form. I know money's tight for everyone. But it does have ordinarily to £100 off it anyway. But if you're in the VIPs, which means that you subscribe to our newsletter, then you today will have a special code and you get an extra 20% off. So it's always worth signing up onto the newsletter for those big deals. Right, so look how lovely. Isn't that cool? Oh, well, I think it is anyway. I absolutely love that. So my idea here, because I am going a bit with the flow, I also want to use our ribbon tag dies. Sorry. This is gorgeous. I am literally fawning over this die. I love this so much. It came out so well. When I got the samples back for this, I was like, oh, that's exactly what I wanted. So you get this really, really cute little tag look, which has got all these little hearts cut out. Now, the really cool thing is you keep those hearts as well. They're all, you know, they just cut out. I've got mine here, look. So use those as well. You also get, there's this little kind of dongly bit here, which is this little hanger. And that's got a little heart cut out of it as well. That's really nice. It's just great little embellishment. And then on top, you get this gorgeous, and it's because of this is what I'm falling over. Look at how delicate this is. So this is literally a millimeter thick, this die cut, and it die cuts. And I did this because we all used to use lots of ribbon on our cards, and to be honest, I barely ever see anyone using ribbon anymore, or maybe just a little tiny bit. But I went through a phase where I used loads of ribbon, and I still have a massive box full of ribbon. And I thought, well, why are people not using it? And I think it's because of postage, and that we don't want to, make boxes necessarily for cards anymore. They, because it obviously affects the postage now, which it didn't 10 years ago. So now I think we should be all doing like little paper bows instead. And this with the tag is just absolutely divine. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So this is why this is why, sorry, I was just looking at the messages then. So this is why I love this set so much. It's so pretty and so useful. So I think what I'm going to do is, I kind of want to, yeah, okay. So I'm just going to glue this down. This isn't a complicated make at all. I've also got here, this is from another, so sorry, I know I'm showing you lots of different things, but I'm trying to show you what we've got in the collection, which is really super nice. I need to show you this as well, actually. No, do I show you? No, won't bring that in. I'm going to show you these. Okay. So we also have these two sets. So we've got heartstrings, absolutely, again, really delicate. I mean, look at this. This is just so lovely. You get two dies here, a left and a right, because you want to be able to have them at different angles. Don't think just Valentine's. These are embellishments that you can use all the time for lots of different things. And then we've got these two leafy flourish dies. They've just taken over as my favourite foliage dies that we've got. Really nice size. This is 5 inches and this one is 2.5. So really nice size. So everything, you can see how everything just works together and works together really nicely. So I've already got some die cut here. And this green and this pink are just going to look amazing together, I think. Now, what I want though, I don't want this to become a Valentine's card. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a blue. And where's the stencils gone? Here. Oh, I've got something else to show you guys. Right. Okay. So I think we've still got them in stock. I know they've been really popular. So I have been looking for some stencil storage for ages, and I am working on it, okay? So I'm working on stencil storage. In the meantime, I had this genius idea. So basically, I've got a ring binder. In the shop right now, we have these pockets. There's actually 2 different types of pockets. So they're just these wallets, but I hunted high and low, and I've actually had these made. And look, this is a pocket with a flap, but there is no closure. So all the ones that were available only had like the snaps on them or had the Velcro. And then, as you know, if you then want to actually put them in a binder, you end up not having much in the binder because you've got the snap in the place and it takes all that room up in your binder. So I've been looking for flat pockets for forever. So I've had these made for you. I think we've still got them in stock. And then the other issue was that I wanted them to be A4, but not A4 that you then had to ring bind. So they've got the extra strip on here. So oh, excuse me, I'm hiccuping. True A4 size, which also means that you can store them with your 8x8s as well. So you can put your 8x8 stencils, all your stencils, A4 stencils. I know some of you've got 12x12, they're not going to fit, but you probably don't have a lot of those anyway. But these are in the shop, so grab these in the shop. And obviously you can put more than one in a thing. I'm actually using one wallet for like a set, and then I'm not using like loads of them. But what I love is just that they're so slimline look. So I'm going to get loads in here. So this is like the stencils from this whole collection. So like where you've got layering ones like this, obviously I kind of want them in on their own. But the other thing I love about it is that if you actually make a background, like here I've got a background from earlier, and you don't use it, you can actually put it in with your stencil, and the next time you come along, you've actually got your thing there. So I am, like I say, I am working on some more storage solutions. So, but you can see that that's how, and I at the moment I can't really think of better things to do than this, if you know what I mean. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to find just a different stencil that is going to work. Okay, so this one is also in this new collection. This is the 3D, the 3 poppies. Okay, so you get 3 stencils. You get this one, which is some stems. You get the leaves, and then you actually get the flower. Now these are also usable on their own too, so they don't have to all be combined together. So what I want to do here is I'm going to use, I think, the actual poppies, and I'm just going to do a little bit of blue through here just to break it up, because like I say, I don't want it to become a Valentine card. It's not what I wanted at all. That's not the look I was going for. So just to add a little bit. Now it's going to go a little bit purpley, but I just want some little tiny hints of blue. It's just a hint. And I don't really want to go over the pink, because like I said, I don't want it to go purple. And there is, like, this is the little stems as well. So, and the stem also has, I'll show you it in a second. I've got a board for this. But the stem also has the dot for the middle of the flower too. So it's actually a flower. So let me show you on the board. Look at that. How cute is that? Is that real? Or I can say it now. I couldn't say it on telly, but it really gives me that sort of 1920s Art Deco kind of Orla Kylie feel. So you've got your green stem, you've got your blue leaves on here, and then you've also got your flower. But can you see how the leaves also have the center of the flower as well? Look. So like if you go over here and it's a bit darker, it's just so nice. It gives you that real sort of that really nice look. And just to show you the other stencils that we've got, let me just quickly show you, because I want to show you this done multicoloured. How nice is that? So that's the kind of effect you're going to get. So this whole collection was kind of inspired by 1970s kind of boho chic. So then we've got, these are layering stencils, so you get 5. It's called circles. It's not just circles, because you also get squares and other shapes in it as well. This one works. I prefer this done in the same colours. So like done all in pink or done all in blue or in 2 matching colours. Don't go too mad with your colours on this one, because you'll find that they start to get a little bit dirty, because with 5 stencils, is it 5 or 4? No, 4 stencils. Once you get to 4, you're actually creating the half shapes by layering the stencil, if you know what I mean. So when you see like here, it's starting to get muddy. That's because there's 4. I've put 4 stencils over that. With this stencil, you can also use this any way around. So there's loads and loads of different combinations, because you can use them any way you want. And then this, one of my favourites, this is the boho petals, and I love this. I think this is absolutely gorgeous. I also really want to cut this out, so I think it would look amazing if we actually cut it. I'm just trying to think if it would work on this. I don't want to be over busy this card. I'm not going to, but I just wanted to show you the stencils. Right, okay, so we've got a little bit of blue in there now, a bit too much, but anyway, never mind. So let's get back. So we're on our heart, and then what I want to do is kind of pull in our foliage behind the heart, and just, this has got a nice curve on it, so just kind of like lay it out first, so you get 2 dies in here and they go the opposite way. Okay, so you can decide which way round you want to do these. I'm quite liking it that way, I think. So just jiggle it around, decide how you like it. I think I like it like that. I like it quite centered, I think. You could put it at a jaunty angle, but I think because it's been a bit battered. Now, what I might do here, so let me just take these dies out, just add another little idea of what I want to do. So I'm going to flip this over a minute. No, it doesn't work. Oh, I know. Right, okay. Where's my dies gone? Dies. That sounded like guys. Did I put them away? Oh, crikey, what have I done with them? Where have I put them, everyone? Where have I put my shutter dies? I've actually had a tidy up, you wouldn't believe it, would you? Oh, crikey. I really need it as well, I can't not have it. So, bear with me. What on earth have I put them? Where? There's nowhere I could have put them. It's a mystery. Honestly. Oh, they're there. Put them in the wrong place. There we go. I knew they were somewhere. Okay. Oh. Oh. If you could see me now, honestly, where my microphone pack is. It's gone down my tights. I've got a skirt on today and I've got my mic pack's gone down my tights. Right, okay, this is what I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to get my, in fact, no, I'm going to, right, here we go. I'm going to use my Festive Berries ink pad, which is this red one, okay? Now, not that great big brush, thanks. I want to use my little detail brush, and what I'm going to do is I just want to hold it, and I'm going to ink now. If I just ink over the top of my die like this, and then do it round that way as well. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to clean that off. But what I want to do is, I'm just going to add just a little bit more around here. I don't want too much ink. This was going to be clean and simple, wasn't it? Yeah, whatever. Whatever, Nikki. Okay, so that's with the Festive Berries. And then I'm going to come in with my pink. So I want that, again, I want it kind of to have that pink vibe. Okay. And then maybe we're going to keep that pattern in there, but look, I'm just going to soften all of that in the middle. So I don't want to get rid of it, but I just want to soften it. And now, because this was quite busy, it wasn't standing out. Look at it now. And it's got, can you see how it's got that kind of halo around it? I want that to be bigger. So I'm going to go outside of that, but we've done it in a really controlled way. So now I'm kind of coming outside of that line that I, you know, like when I had the dye on. And if you want to, you can put, if you're not sure where you're going, put your dye back on, look. And then you could then just swish around the outside edge then and create that nice halo. I actually like it when you do it without the dye because you kind of can get in a little bit more. You make it whatever you want it to be at the end of the day. And look how that now pops. Look at how it pops around there. I might even actually just add a little bit more of that red. I kind of want it, now I've done it, I kind of want it to be darker even. Just don't go too heavy-handed because you want it to be really soft. You don't want a hard line. And a little tip for you here, if you still felt like that colour wasn't quite dark enough, you could add a little bit of vintage photo to it and it would make it a bit darker. But I kind of like that as it is. This may well end up as a get well card at this not a get well card, a Valentine card at this rate. So look, what I'm going to do is, this is what I love about this dye in particular. Look how nice. So look, we can literally, I wonder if what it would look like. In fact, let's pick that up and do it. So you can weave this in and out as if it was kind of, if you had ivy, it's going to look amazing if you've got an ivy dye. We actually have some ivy in some of the stuff from the garden bundle. There's the one with the window dye, but oh yeah, look at that, look how nice that looks. And then look, thread that all through. Oh my goodness, you know when you have an idea and it just comes together. Oh, love it. Don't want it to be too, I want it kind of across a bit. And I want it all weaving through there. And then what I want to do here as well is, let's make this a little bit dimensional. You know me, I like a bit of dimension. I like to have things that are just, all you need to do is just crease things and it just lifts it completely. So just, I'm going to crease the leaves backwards and forwards and it just provides that little bit of movement and interest. I've lost it now. Right, what I'm going to do is, because I'm getting a bit fingers and thumbs, I'm going to glue this down. I don't want to put too much glue on because I want it to still have, like, be able to move it if I need to. So I've only done like a few little dots. Get a tissue just to smooth that on. And actually what it might be nice to do here is, let's just snip in there. and then we can actually have a bit that's broken off. Oops. So now we've gone all shabby cheeky. I mean, you could keep that and have it, you know, if you've done it on the other side, I would do it on the other side, but you could keep that and actually have that. So, and then if you feel like there's some bits that aren't quite right, like I say, if you cut that out of proper paper instead of watercolour, then what I think watercolour is quite thick, so it was hard for me to tear it. If I'd cut it out of our 160 gram Ultimate Graphic, it would have actually been a bit nicer, I think. So whilst I've still got this, I'm just going to bend those leaves a little bit more. Right, so now I can get in. And I'm going to glue this down at the bottom because it keeps moving on me. Just glue it a little bit, and then I'll glue it into place once I have it where I want it all to be. So a bit further down. So you're just weaving it. Weave it in. And if you want to, you know, just cut it. But I love these coils, look at them. I'm going to come back and kind of recoil these. Wow. And then let's just get a bit of, in fact I might use glue gel for this. Look at me tip for glue gel. Did you see this last week what I'd done? So I've actually screwed off the whole of the top because it got stuck. So you know, like this bit, the whole lid was stuck on. So I kind of, well, no, it wasn't actually. The lid wasn't stuck on. But when I opened it, it was so clogged up and I'd still had loads of glue. It was almost a new packet. So I put the lid back on and I thought, and it was all gunked up all around the neck of the tube. So I put the lid back on and I screwed it really, really hard and I just kept twisting it and twisting it and twisting it. And when I took the lid back off, by accident, I'd actually pulled the entire, look, I've twisted the entire neck of my glue off. And I was like, oh no, because this was nearly a full tube. This is like 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I thought, oh, I'm not wasting all of that. I'm going to put a piece of tape over it and see what happens. And look, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me, quite frankly. Because now, all I do is I still, like, push my glue out, put the tape over the top of it, and then when you come to that, and make sure it's sealed, because you can get your finger right in and seal it. And then when you come back, look, you've kind of created like a little nodule of glue on there, and it just pulls out off the tape. It's amazing. It's the best hack ever if you use glue gel. I'm not kidding. You need to forget about, you know, kind of all your fancy things that we normally do and stuff. And it's a game changer for me. It really is. Right, I'm just gonna put that on there, just so it's got a little bit of dimension. It's not quite gone where I want it to be. Just a bit of dimension there. A little tiny bit of glue under there. And this is going to enable me to kind of glue it to the die cut there. So it's, and a little bit under there to the die cut. I just want it all secured down so it doesn't move. That's better. Yeah. And then this one, I kind of just want that to, again, I'm just going to, a little bit, if you do any folding on that one, make sure you try and just do a little bit of movement on the other one as well. And then this one, I'm just going to add just a little bit around there, and we'll have it, let's have it kind of, at the back really. Just have that there. and just a tiny bit of glue under there just to secure that leaf. You don't need to put as much glue on these things as you think. Okay, so then I'm nearly done actually. I don't want to do a whole load more stuff. So I'm going to take my little tag and again a little bit of glue gel, and then what I want to do here is I'm going to push that in there. Okay, so it's kind of floating, and again I'm going to snip that off because that's got one of the slats coming up. That's better. And this one, let's cut that one off, and that one a little bit. That's better. It almost doesn't look like a heart now, does it? You know, I might have gone a bit over the top because I'm trying to give you guys some ideas of what you can do with these dies. So I've wet my finger, and then I'm just going to roll that back up again. And then if I just get my tweezers, and just hold the end of it there, and then just grab your tweezers and just pull that down, and you're going to get that really nice coil. And then we'll do the same on this side. Oh no, I haven't done it. It does work better if you just wet it, and especially because this is cut from watercolour card as well. It behaves a bit differently maybe to normal cardstock. So look, let's twist that one out there like that. Maybe have that in a bit more. I've flattened it down. I don't want it flat. Just want those coils kind of coming over. Let me grab some more glue. I don't like things too flat. So let's get my leaves over the top. Sorry, I'm being a bit, I feel like it's not going where I want it to go for some reason. I think it's because I've got my slats and they're all poking up. That's it. I want it up at the bottom. Just going to prop that up. There. Oh gosh, honestly. No, I've pushed it down. I just love that dimension. And then I'm going to put my, right, what I want now is I want a sentiment on here. Okay, so, and also I need some flowers as well on here. So I'm going to use our new Dahlia flower set. Gorgeous. You might think this is like any other daily flower set and like a basic, but wait until you see what I've actually done with these, because these blew me away when I started to pick the flowers. There's 2 sets of flowers in the collection. I'll show you them both. So the other one we've got is chamomile, and look at this. Look at the dimension you've got here. Can you see how? Look at this one. Look how built up this is. I've got that. That is an inch. Look. That's an inch of build-up, and that's just actually 5 flowers, and all I did was I just shaped it like inwards, and then it changes how you do it. So if you, on the chamomile, if you just squeeze these little petals, just gently squeeze them, it ends up like this. And look at that one. Look how much dimensions on that one. It actually is like a chamomile flower. Look at it. Isn't that gorgeous? The thing with this as well is, if you cut a flower from green, like dark green, and use that as your base, I haven't done it, but if you did it, you could then get away with that, would like be your leaves as well. And then also, when you have the little, that's only 1, 2, 4, 5 layers, so 5 flowers, and they're all joined together, look. So this is 1 pass cutting, okay? So you can separate them if you want. I don't. I just cut these, you know, in one go. And I like to cut mine in white because then you can colorize your flowers and you get a totally different look. They're more pretty, they're prettier, in my opinion, doing it that way than actually cutting them out of coloured cardstock. So they're easy to cut because you're cutting all of the flowers all at once. So all of these were cut in white like this. So I had them like this, and then all I've done is I've just inked the centres or inked the edges to create these. Now, see this little daisy here? Look at this. How pretty is this? This is 2 flowers there, 2 die cuts, look. So it was just that I had 2 left over when I was making all of these, and I thought, oh, I'll just put them together and stick them there. And when I did it, it was like, oh my God, look, because you've got the centre as well, and all you need to do is cut that from yellow or ink it yellow, and you've got these gorgeous little daisies. Absolutely in love with these. So that's the chamomile. Now, the dahlia, which is the one I'm going to use, look at this. So your basic die, again, 1-piece die. You can separate it if you want to, but look at this. Look at these. These are incredible. They're just incredible. I couldn't believe it. I actually gasped because when I got the sample, I made this one because obviously we get the samples from the factory and test it. So I actually made this one. This has been hanging around on my desk for 6 months now. And I kept looking at it and thinking, that's so pretty, that's so pretty. But that's all I'd done because I just get them back to test them and sort of check that the dies are okay. And so last week, or the week before the Hobby Maker show, I thought I must make some more flowers, what can I do? And I was like, I don't think that really looks like a dahlia. And obviously I designed these ages ago, so I couldn't really remember. And so I had to go and look at what dahlias look like. And I thought, well, this flower doesn't look like a dahlia. It does when you do that. So look, on this one, all you're going to do is you just pinch it. So just pinch these little leaves. I'm going to show you. Let me show you. Anyway, I just want to show you the other ones as well, because I can show you photos of this, but you just don't get that amazing dimension. This one I absolutely love. This is like rock hard. Now, what you could do with these, I think, is you could make 2 of these and glue them together back to back, and you could actually have them on sticks or make stems, and you could actually make a bouquet of flowers with these because they're gorgeous. This one is just literally these flat and just lay it up, you know, and just curled a little bit to add that bit of dimension. I love the colour on that. That's shaded lilac distressing. And then this one, I've done the opposite way, look. So look at that one. That one you definitely can back to back and make a proper flower pom-pom with that. So let's make some. So I've got here, I want to show you how to actually do it. Okay. So let me just move my project because I don't want to, and that can dry a little bit in the meantime. Look how yummy. So this isn't going to take, it's only going to take a jiffy anyway. So what I do is I kind of sort them out into sizes. So I have a mass cutting session. Okay. So I have a mass cutting session, and then I just sort them into sizes like this. And then I know exactly what I'm doing. And I just find if I'm organised with it, it kind of makes it super quick. So I've got a couple, it looks like I've done about 4 here. I literally just spend like an afternoon die cutting. Right, okay, so let's get I'm going to go, no, let's go a different colour. Let's go yellow. I never do yellow. Fossilised amber, that'll do. Right, okay, and you want your detail brush for this, really. So I'm going to go, let me just see what I did on those. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go around the edge on this one. Now, a little tip as well, if you want an extra little look, is get a green. And if you look, very often the inside of your flowers are green. Okay. So that's all I've done. Yeah. And then what we're going to do is I'm just going to pinch it like that, just on the end. You don't need to worry about, because this bit's thin, so just literally the end bits like that. Now if you want to speed that up a bit, inky next one. And remember, I've done this out of 160 gram. So 160, the reason I love it so much and the reason we sell so much of it, of the Ultimate Graphic, is because 160 is great for die cutting, is great for stamping, it's great for paper manipulation. So, sorry, I've done it wrong. What I was going to say was, if you want to speed it up, you can actually, because it's 160, you can do 2 at a time. So I can actually pinch 2 at a time, and this is literally how I did it. I just go around like that, and I get my thumbnail there. Even if you haven't got nails, you can still do it like that, and just squeeze against your thumbnail there. You see, look, and that provides you with a really nice V, and then you've got 2 done at the same time. Okay, and that saves you loads of time. And then if you want to, you can kind of make them a little bit deeper if you feel like they're not deep enough. Okay, so that's what we've now ended up with. So let's do this one, and we're just going to build it up. I'm not sure I want pink and yellow, but anyway, just thinking I've got a pink card and I've done yellow flowers. It'll be all right. I was going to do orange and then forgot. So now you just, I mean, literally, I mean, 2. Look at 2. That then to me starts to look like, is it like more of a cosmos flower? I'm not quite sure what it's called, but something like a cosmos. So, you know, I think just to save time, because I'm just aware that time's kind of cracking on a little bit, I'm just going to, what I'll do is I'll do a 3rd one, but I'll go a bit smaller this time. So I'm going to skip one. And even on the 3rd one, we'll kind of just pinch that one as well. And what you can do, oh no, you maybe can't, but just, oh, there, that was it. When I got down to this tiny one here, which is the smallest one, what I found was it was easier to pinch from the back rather than, mind you, I don't know, it just depends. You get in a rhythm, to be honest. Just press it. You're just getting a little bit of a rhythm. And I just find that, I mean, you could just use your ball tool and you could curl them as well, obviously. But if you do a curl, you're going to get a totally different flower. You're going to get that first one that I've done. So then I can kind of put that one in the middle, or I can use it separate. So I'm going to just put the rest of my flowers away, because like I say, I've got a lot, over an hour again already. I thought I'd have loads of time. I thought, oh yeah, my demo, I know exactly what I'm doing today, so it's not going to take forever. Okay, so I just kind of felt like we needed a flower somewhere. So this one, I don't know what we're going to do. It's look quite nice up there. Small one, large one maybe. Or, I don't know, maybe that, I'm feeling that's a bit big. Maybe. Anyway, I don't know. Right, I haven't done the giveaway or anything, have I? Never mind. We'll do it next time. So, I wanted this to kind of be a bit of a get well kind of card. So, I haven't shown you the strip sentiments, have I? So, the strips, lost them all. Okay, so we have new strip sentiment stamps. By the way, on Hobby Maker, this was all an extended dispatch. We've got the stock in, everything is dispatching. Loads of people have already got theirs. So you have these strip sentiments. So this one is fantastic. There's 24 greetings here. This is one big, huge, massive stamp. You're going to need your stamping platform to do this really well. Sorry, it's upside down. Looks like it's been cracked upside down, that one. This is my sample copy. Mine's slightly different because I changed something on it. Let me just show you the stamp set. So you've got, hey there, lovely. Happy birthday. Hello. Wishing you the happiest birthday. Just a little something. You always make me smile. There's some real, this is a general all year round. You've got happy Easter. Birthday wishes to you just because. Get well soon. A little hello from me. Love you. Wishing you a beautiful day. Here's to one more trip around the sun. I love that sentiment. Congratulations. Happy anniversary. Thinking of you. Sending you extra strength for the days ahead. So there's something for nearly every occasion on this stamp set. Now, we do have, I'm getting in a pickle. We do have the die to match. Okay, so this is the die that I was telling you about on the last sentiment strip set, which was for Christmas. And basically I kind of made a mistake. Well, I don't know if I made the mistake. I'm not quite sure what went wrong. But anyway, the die didn't match the paper pack, the Christmas paper pack. So this stamp set has been made to match this die. So basically, you're going to cut the whole lot out in one pass. This is an absolute must-have as far as I'm concerned for your stash. You're going to absolutely love using this. And again, you'll be using this forever. And it's really nice fonts. They're not going to date. The sentiments are useful. So what I want to sorry, I got sidetracked then. Oh, that was it. I was looking for my sentiments because I'd already got them out. So I'm going to use two. So I've got this one here, which is hope you're feeling brighter soon. So really nice. That doesn't have to be get well. That might just be someone that's feeling a bit down, you know, having a hard time, whatever. So, and you can see that's in a really nice typewriter font. So these sentiments, again, are all slightly different. So they're not all in the same font. You've got different fonts in there, different sizes as well. All you're going to do, by the way, let me just show you. This set is a bit different to how a lot of other brands do it. So look, on here on the stamp, I've got, this is why I've made it so big, because I've got more than one sentiment on one line. So I've got two there, I've got, there's somewhere I've got three there, just because, oh no, where is it? Maybe not. Two, there's, no, two on each line. So, but your die is just one line. Yeah? See that? So the top half of the die is just one line. I never even mentioned that the bottom half, look, is completely different shapes. So I've done this, so it's in one line so that you can cut that sentiment down. Now, so you're going to separate them. The reason I've done that is because this die is now future-proof. So in our next release, or maybe not the next one, but the one after, we will have another stamp that's going to match this. 100% there are more stamps to come with this. I've ordered a huge amount of stock because these have all been so popular. And what it means is that then gives me the flexibility to put more sentiments in here. If I'd have made each of these into an individual die so that you didn't have to cut down the middle, that means then I would have really been restricted with what sentiments I could put in the future, because all the sentiments then become limited to that. So, but next time I could just put like little single words in. Next time I might put some numbers in there so you can cut the numbers out. So it just makes it really, really versatile. So we've got hope you're feeling brighter now. And then also we've got sending you extra strength for the days ahead. So what I want to do is I want to use both of these. So I'm going to add that onto my little tag. God, I've been here that long, it's getting dark. In fact, I might put it in there. I think it'll look really cute in there, look. Let me put a bit more gel on that. I love building things up. Christine at Pinflare, thank you so much for your glue gel. It's amazing. So look, I'm going to position that in there. It's getting dark though, isn't it? And then what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to just chop this down a bit. So I'm not going to make things difficult by worrying about cutting it straight. you can just cut it down, and it can be a bit lopsided, it doesn't matter, okay? And the way to really get the most from these, I think, is that you just put them on a nice jaunty angle. So just look where you're going to put it. So I might kind of go here. Yeah, hope you're, there's 4 here, so feeling, and you can overlap and kind of stack them. You don't have to, obviously you don't have to raise them up. I like them that way, but you do it how you want. And then if I go brighter, let me see, let's go in there, brighter there. You're all very quiet. Oh, Deborah, I got your message. Sorry, I totally forgot to reply to you. I did get your message. I'll make sure it goes out tomorrow. Chris did mention it the other day, and he's not mentioned it since. And I'm sorry, that's my fault completely. I totally forgot to go and actually mention it to him and ask him. So I'm sorry. I'm glad you've messaged. Sorry, that's absolutely my bad. Blame that on me. Really sorry. But yeah, I will 100%. Your order is going out tomorrow. Sorry. Right, now that gorgeous little bow is going on there, and I do have, you get a center, so you could actually put a gem on there, or you know, you could put a bit of a little dab of tonic nouveau drops on it if you want. Now in this, in fact, I've got my center there. In here I've got my little tiny hearts that have all come out of my tag here. So I'm going to just grab my center of that, because I want that to just be propped up just a tiny bit. I'm going to just put some, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue gel in the middle there, and I'm just going to dab that on there. And it just finishes it off by putting that center in, and it sits on the whole of the tag. So now where's my little pickup tool? Do you know, I had a little bit of a tidy up the other day, and I found all my things that were missing that I've been looking for. I found them, all my little pickup tools and everything, although it's not a very good one, to be fair. Okay, so I'm going to just, where's it gone? So I've got these tiny, weeny little hearts. Let's pick that up. And I think it'll just finish it off if I just put one of those hearts in the middle of my flowers, and a tiny bit more. I know you should really have 3. I haven't decided where I'm putting these yet. I feel like they're a bit green. Oops, it's come off. Right, okay. Right, let's get there. I'd forgotten that wasn't even glued down. So a bit glue behind and a bit of glue there. Put our flower in and just make sure it's not, it's at an angle. Just position it. Could do with an extra one really, but anyway. So where are we going to put that? I think that needs to kind of go down here. We've kind of lost our bit of the broken heart there, but anyway, it doesn't matter for this. And maybe another flower somewhere. Maybe there. That's nice there. Okay. And one last little bit is that little dongle from that ribbon heart tag set. I just absolutely love this. So I'm going to just, the reason I put that in is because I want that to be like an extra little embellishment that I can just poke into the centre there. And that is it. That I'm not doing anything else to this. I've still got a few, oops, hang on, I've got glue on my fingers. Let me just get my tape off. And there we go. Isn't that nice? So just like a different way to use your stencils, a different way to use, you know, I could have just, in fact, look, I haven't, that's one thing I didn't do, isn't it? I was going to coil that down. So I want to just coil. So just twist it. Twist those little pieces. So coil it, and then as you pull it, just twist it round a little bit. And then that's better. And if you want to, it might be quite nice, actually, it might be a good idea to actually just put a tiny bit of gel under them, or a little bit of glue. In fact, glue might be better. Oh, no, a bit of gel. That'll just help them stick and not get damaged. So like that one could do that with that one. And just pull that one down a bit as well. So you just kind of, it's about having the right coil, and then, and I've got a little tiny heart there. I'm going to just, so it doesn't get wasted. And there's a couple more. Let me just use these, because if I don't use them, they're just going to go in the bin, aren't they? And there's 3 there, so they look really nice. There, got a spare one, but never mind. See what I mean about the coils? So just, and nobody, it doesn't even look like a heart. It certainly doesn't look like a Valentine card of any kind. But I think just adding that darkness at it behind just helped to lift it all up. And it's just something a bit different, isn't it? Don't you think? I just feel like it's a bit different. And, you know, especially for a greeting card, you know, for a get well, or for a, you know, just a, this isn't a get well even. This is sending you extra strength. Maybe it's a bereavement card. You know, they don't have to be all miserable and, you know, black and white and, you know, all of that, do they? All somber. You know, this is somber, but in a really, really uplifting way, I think. So if someone said, if you know, if I'd had a bereavement and someone sent me this as a card, I would, for a start, I would think, oh my God, they've spent like hours and hours. It looks like you've spent days making this. And you and I know that we haven't. We've spent an hour. And you could probably make it a bit quicker. I was faffing around. But wouldn't you be so grateful and so touched that someone had actually gone to all the effort of making something like this for you? You know, so I just think, you know, it's just those extra little touches. It's just thinking about doing something slightly different, maybe to what you would normally do with your dies. And we've not even used any stamps apart from the sentiments on this. So absolutely, I love that. I'm really pleased with how that's come out. I kind of had the idea in my head from what I was doing earlier, and but it was completely different. I was going to do something clean and simple, and that's when I know a product's really good, because it kind of inspires you to do something else. So wow, you're all still with me, or lots of you are still with me. So thank you for joining me today. You can get everything that I've used today on the show, in the live, is on the website. So it's from our Bright and Beautiful collection. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to do a giveaway. Who's here? Anybody who's here, just type win in the comments right now. I'm going to give you a minute. And it's a little reward for those of you that have stuck with me, because I've been on for an hour and a half. Chris said to me, you won't do an hour. And I said, no, I'm going to do half an hour because I know exactly what I'm going to do an hour and a half later. But it's just crafting, isn't it? It's just crafting. Well done, Julie. Diane, type win. Jacqueline, type win. Pauline, type win. You guys are all still here. Jill, you're still here, I think. So all of you that are still here, type win in the comments now. Karen, well done. I'm going to draw a winner, and someone is going to win. I'm going to do you a voucher so you can go and actually get any, maybe you get a die or whatever. You might want to buy that shutter die or whatever, but you might have something else from the collection. So rather than actually going, okay, I'm going to send you this, I'll give you a voucher. So I'm going to send you a voucher. You're going to get a voucher for £10 to spend in the store. Okay, so £10 off your next order, basically. Jacqueline, well done. Pauline, well done. Right, I've got 6 of you. 7. Come on, we need a few more. Anyone else there? Come on, everybody. Win, 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 win. Any more? Liz, you can't be in it, Liz. Liz has just come back to our design team. She used to be on our design team a long time ago, and she's just rejoined us. So make sure you follow Liz. I think Natalia was here earlier as well, and Natalia makes amazing things. Christine as well. So make sure you join these girls. Follow them. Oh, crikey, I've lost my place. Well done, Jill. Right, okay. I'm on the countdown. So you've got 15 seconds to enter to win that £10 voucher. So get in there. That's so nice. Well, I think that's a really lovely card. I really do. But look at this. This is what I love. This is literally like twine. So I've got twine that's actually thicker than that, in fact. It's literally 1mm, and this little dangly bit. I just love it. This whole little tag. Sometimes these little die sets, because if you notice, what we do a bit differently, I think, to a lot of the other brands, is they all have these great big die sets, and they tend to make dies that are huge. And I actually like this kind of die where it adds something, but is super versatile. So rather than it being like, I like borders, but rather than it being kind of all the nested dies and all the fancy edges and all of that, I kind of think, well, they're nice, but they always look the same. Whereas, like, when you're doing stuff like this, it adds to it, and these are dies you'll use forever. I think sometimes with some of the border die, or the you know what I mean, the kind of where you have a circle and you've got fancy edge around the circles and stuff. Although we have those and they are beautiful, they're kind of a bit of a one-trick pony to an extent. They're there as a backdrop, whereas these are more like the centerpiece dies, and that's kind of the route I want to go down. Right, okay, I'm going to pick you. Okay, so I'm just doing this randomly then. Okay, so I'm randomly, so we've got Julie, Karen, Jacqueline, Diane, Pauline, Jill. Oh, Rachel's here as well. So Rachel's design team as well. Pauline as well. Pauline's in it as well. Right, okay. Let me see. I'm going to randomly put my cursor on someone's name. I can't see, honestly. Where's it landed? Karen. Karen Bonner. Well done, Karen. So, Karen, can you... actually, I'll message you. Can I message you? Thing is, you won't get it if I'm not friends with you. Can you message? Actually, I tell you what, Karen, go to the front page of the website, so polkadoodles.com, and go on the chat box and just type in the chat box there, and your email address will come up for me, and then I'll actually add it as a credit on your account on the website. Okay, so as long as you've got an account on the website. If you haven't, I'll just contact you and I'll give you a code for that. So well done. Congratulations. £10. What are you going to buy, Karen? Stencil? Die? What are you going to get? You can get the flat, you could get the dahlia dies and still have change. You could get the tag dies, have change. It's up to you. How nice. I never win anything, me. Never, never, ever. Right, I am going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry I've not done many lives lately. I've been really bad, but it has been my back that's caused the issues. So hopefully now that's kind of gone for a little while again. And I will be back very soon. If you do follow me, if you do TikTok, go follow us on there because we're starting TikToks now once I'm unbanned. So if you didn't join me right at the start, I was bad today. My first TikTok live project, and literally after 20 minutes, I got thrown off for mentioning Facebook and Instagram. Apparently, you're not allowed to do that. So if you do join us on TikTok, let me know. I'll be doing lots more TikTok lives, and I'll be back here again soon. So thanks for joining me. We've got exciting news coming up soon as well, but I can't tell you yet. Yeah, I'll tell you at some point once we kind of get it off the ground and everything. Right, I'm gonna go. I'm parched. My tummy's rumbling. I've had nothing to eat since this morning. So I will see you all very soon. Thank you. I'll be back. Definitely back next week. I'll try and get another live in through the week as well if I can. A shorter one that isn't an hour and a half. Okay. See you soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.